I'm thankful for that time of singleness because
Yeah.
during that time I was really actually able to like talk to God and like tell him like what I want in a husband, or like, all right, God, if he's it, God, like show me, and he did. I was really able to like grow in my relationship with God before God moved for us, like flowing with us, getting together and hanging out. So
And so I'm not just the curl guys are in your
so
favor.
he would
Hey
like
y'all, honey.
all of a sudden reach out to, like, we would text here and there, like how's overseas, because we were cool, we were friends.
Right.
So then he would come back and then he would like reach out to me. And then it went from us like, hey, let's go to the movies, to us, hey, you want to come over and like eat some rotel. So it kind of like it flowed in a sense. Like this is how
Yeah.
God works. It just flowed. And so we came together. And it might have been, so that was in April when we like started to hang out. And then like it started to move very quickly. We became like official, I think like October, and then he proposed like that next April. So like it I broke up with that relationship, but like God, like he moved, and I'm thankful for that time of singleness because
Yeah.
during that time I was really actually able to like talk to God and like tell him like what I want in a husband, or like, all right, God, if he's it, God, like show me, and he did. I was really able to like grow in my relationship with God before God moved for us, like flowing with us, getting together and hanging out. So
Yeah.
um so
So two things that I'm interested in about that. One, I'm interested in hearing about differences between your husband and your ex in terms of godliness. Like, what were the things in your husband's character that you saw that were different from the relationship? So I'll start
uh
there first so you don't forget the second one.
okay. um so during my time I would like write out like what I wanted in a man, what I wanted in a husband, and I wanted somebody who had the same purpose as me. I wanted someone who, like, of course, was on fire for God.
Mhm.
um and one thing that really set him apart, like set him differently, and I knew this from like our college group, but he was saving, like he wasn't having sex until he found his one, until he was married, so like he was like clean, like he was good. Um, so that was huge for me. And also like his whole purpose in life. Like, okay, he played basketball, but he wanted to like impact youth. He wanted to like use basketball as his platform to like give God glory. And that's the same thing like I want to do. So our purposes, aligned.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the fact that like when we started dating, he wanted to set like the boundaries, and I wanted that. I wanted somebody who's gonna be on the same page with me, for it's like, all right, we're gonna be on the same page. We're gonna set this time frame for it's like how long we're gonna hang out with each other. I wanted somebody who was gonna like read the word with me. Somebody that I knew that was gonna pray with me. And we did all that during the dating stage. So God like truly showed me, like, based on my list and based on like my past relationship, that's what I want. I want somebody who's gonna build with me, somebody who's gonna grow with me and make me better, of course. So yeah, he definitely was the true definition of like a godly like relationship, like compared to like my last one, like helping me grow, like he was all that. So
Yeah, so my second question was about like the boundaries and what dating God's way looked like. And one of the reasons that I get really interested in that part is because part of my story is, dating God's way, getting married and getting divorced. And so a lot of the times when I'm talking to different women, it's kind of like, well, you did it God's way. I don't understand.
yeah,
And I'm like, yeah, that's not a recipe for success though. Like
yeah,
a lot of continuous commitment that has to go on. And so I don't
yeah,
want people to get this idea that because you date God's way, it's supposed to be any kind of recipe. But
yeah,
I like hearing from different couples about what dating God's way looked like for them. So people see it played out in very different ways in terms of boundaries and what worked for y'all.
Yeah. So for us, like boundaries, going into the relationship, we both knew that we wanted to get married, we wanted to have kids, and we could see how God was like flowing in our relationship and how things could happen quicker than we think. So like the first boundary was of course like we couldn't hang out no later than, I think it was like 11. It was because time flew when we hung out. But anyway, I think it was like 11. That was one for sure. Because the later it got, the later you get more like chill. It's like, all right. So that was one. Another one was we started off kissing. But then after about, I think 2 months, the Lord led him first to stop. He was like, all right. And men, they deal with their own like boundaries, and but the Lord pretty much told him like, wait until marriage to kiss, because you never know well, kissing does lead to other things, but you get more passionate, you start falling in love, and so so that was, I'm glad that the Lord did that. And at first I was like, for real, but then,
just like that. Disappointed.
But I was here for it. That's what I wanted. I wanted a godly man that heard from God and that was gonna take lead, and like, I was here for it. So I was cool. And I later on I understood why. Like, okay, I'm glad we did,
Yeah.
So that was another one. And funny thing about the kissing thing, I remember I had a dream right before our wedding that so we haven't kissed, we hadn't done anything. And I would say once we got engaged, engagement was rough. It was rough. It was very rough. It was a lot of like disagreements and just, it was rough. But we stuck it out because I knew that like my purpose was with him. And a lot of it came down to like our purpose together. Like God told me like my purpose was like him, like I don't know right now. I don't know where God is going to take us, but I do know that it's going to be something together that God has planned for us. So like God told me that in engagement stage. But so we were going to wait to kiss until like we say I do. But so right before the wedding, I had a dream that we were getting ready to kiss. We said I do. We kissed, and there was like these like spirits, these dark objects just flying. It was like, no. So I heard like this cry, no, and like these like evil spirits just flying away. And it was like, it explained why the engagement stage was rough, because it was the enemy trying to like, he doesn't want like two to come together. He's afraid of like what we could do for God's kingdom.
Exactly.
So he really like attacked us during the engagement stage. So like on that day in my dream we kissed, and like they all like scattered. They were like devastated, and it was so powerful. So I just knew we could make it to that day, which we were gonna make it. But I knew once we made it to that altar and said I do and kiss, like the enemy's like plan was defeated, like it was over with. So and that's just us like following God and like setting the boundaries from the beginning, listening to God, letting him lead us, and because we did that, we made it, we made it. And I would say like once we said I do, like the situation still came. We still had to pray together and like fight together. But I do know because we said I do and we came together, that the enemy's mad, and he's gonna continue to be mad because we're gonna keep fighting and keep God first. So
I love the fact that he initiated the whole no kissing thing, because I don't think that we see enough of those examples. Typically, the women are more spiritual than the man, and the men eventually catch up, kind of thing. And so I love that he's like, nah, I heard from God. concerning this. So that's really dope.
Yeah, that's one thing about him, like, and that's what I wanted. Cause like in my last relationship, I was the one leading it,
Yeah.
But I wanted in this relationship, I wanted someone that was gonna stand up and be like, hey, let's do this, let's read the word, let's like pray, let's not kiss until, that kind of stuff. That's what I wanted, that's what I needed. So I'm very thankful for him. Like even now, like in times when I'm down, he's like, all right, let's pray about it. And like times when he's down, I can be like, all right, let's pray about it. Like I'm glad like that's our like foundation in our marriage.
Yeah. So along the lines of purpose, you recently started a new blog called Clove to Win, which I think is amazing. I really
thank you.
That you one of the first like interviews that you did or the profiles on that was with your mom. Tell Mama Pepsi I said, hey,
Mom. Oh God, I can't wait to tell her. She's gonna be excited. She's gonna have all kind of questions. How's she doing? Okay.
Right. Yeah, so talk to us a little bit about the blog. What was the inspiration behind it and what's your hope going forward?
Okay, so the blog actually came during the quarantine when everybody was like at home. And so during that time, like I had a lot of free time. I would like spend time with God a lot and just like sit in worship and like meditate a lot. So this particular day I was sitting and I just felt this like it was like this fire again. This fire, and it was like something wanted to like break, something wanted to like be released. And it was killing me because I was like, man, God, what is it? Like,
yeah.
So anyway, I'll continue to pray about it. I didn't get what it was right then, but I would say like a couple of days later, like I started to like, what's the word I'm looking for? I started to like be drawn to like blogs, and I'm like, okay, because I'm not really like a writer, so like I journal like on my own, but it's not like for anybody else to read. I don't write.
I'll write in my diary for y'all to read it.
Yes, for me. I'll go in there and read it, but anyway. Anyway, so I was drawn to do a blog, and I'm like, okay. So I started doing my research on it, and look up like, okay, blogs. I think I looked at yours one time. I remember you had a blog. Just different people who had blogs. Like, 'cause I'm like, I never thought of doing a blog. And so like he drew me to it, and I was like, okay, so what am I going to name it? So anyway, God led me to Proverbs 31:25, and that's like one of my favorite verses. She's clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. And that's like my heart, that verse. Like she's clothed with strength and dignity, and laughs without fear of the future. Like that's like story of my life. So anyway, I was drawn to the name Clove to Win. Because throughout my life, like I see like women and young girls like who make it down themselves and may not think like they're capable enough to do things, like even in sports or like just in general. So I love that verse because God has already like equipped us, and he has already like clothed us to like win in life. Like despite, like we can laugh at the future knowing that God has our life in his hands.
Yeah.
So bam, it hit. I was like, all right, so I'm gonna do this. So anyway, throughout all quarantine, I would like write, like God would just like give me like words or like titles, and I would just like write. I would just write about it. So towards the end of the summer, I think I released in July. I released my first blog. And it worked out good because a lot of people around that time like weren't going to church or like were at home. They were looking for something, So I'm thankful for that because I was able to put out something, and I pray that it was for people to like look at and like it's something of God, despite them not being able to go to church. So that's how it came. And my whole like what I look for out of that is just for people to like hear about God at home. Like we don't know, we might go to quarantine again. I don't know. but just to be able to like relate and like reflect, and also know that like despite what the enemy may try to like bring at them, like we could win. Like God has already like equipped us to win in life, and we are already clothed. We have the strength, and that whatever he tries to throw at us, like we can laugh and we can like laughing at the future. To me is confidence. It's like, okay, well, like despite of what it may look like,
Right.
I'm gonna walk in this joy and this peace, knowing that God like has his hands on me, and that I'm gonna get through this, and I'm already equipped for this, you know. So that's my whole purpose for like it burns me like to see people like in myself, not just people, just women and myself, to like sulk or like for the enemy to bring us down. You know, that's his whole plan. He wants us to like feel like we're not enough or that we're not good
Right.
enough, you know, but I want us as women and myself to be able to stand and be like, no, like God has already clothed me and equipped me, and I'm about to walk in this, and my future is bright, you know? So
Right. Yeah, it's so amazing that you speak about it in that way and about the laughing at the future, because when I was going through your Instagram and going through your blog preparing for this time, I was like, there's just so much joy here. Like there's just
oh,
so much joy out here, and I love it. Yeah,
girl,
that's
I
amazing.
appreciate it. And that's what I want. I want people to like walk in that joy and
Mm,
to see that joy. Because social media is another thing where uh based on likes or views, and it's another one where it'll like bring people down and make them not feel valued
yeah,
enough, you know. But you can feel value in whatever God has placed you in, and you can walk in that joy.
yep.
It just I start getting worked up because like, oh,
Right. You like,
enemy, I
because
just
what
want
they not gonna do is come up in here and steal this joy. Okay?
to yes, and that's how I want everybody to walk. Like, like, and the only reason why I'm like so passionate about that is because you know I see it in my own life
Mm,
and how he wants to try to come in like think he got this, and it's like
right,
no,
right. I
not
love,
today.
yeah. So one more question before we wrap up with the final question. I'm really interested in your community of people around you. It sounds like community has always been important and was kind of an integral part of even your relationship with God starting. So how have you continued to experience community and seen that to be important in your walk with God, in your marriage, as you continue to grow as a mom, all of those different aspects of your life?
Yeah, so community, that was huge, a huge impact. But I would say that now that we're all like out of college and we're all like doing our own thing, I would say like to still have those relationships to be able to reach out to. Like we'll still send like verses here and there, or, like songs that we like here and there. It's kind of like that accountability partner. Like, yeah, I'm still here, you know. Just to have those, and like my two friends that I told you, that one was my roommate, she was my teammate, and then the other guy, he would like come and hang with us. Like I still have a close relationship with them,
That's
and
awesome.
like they're both like still walking, like and still walking strong with Christ, and I'm like so thankful for them. And even like my husband, like the group of friends that was in that group with us, he's still close with them, and he still reaches out to them. Like it's all like a big circle. So
Mm-hmm.
like the fact that we still can like always go to each other, or like I hear my husband all the time, he'll be on the phone with like one of those friends, they'll call and, hey, I need prayer for this, like let's talk, you know. They'll just talk for hours, and like me and my friends we'll more get together and like let's go get lunch and like pray and talk. You know, those kind of relationships, not only do they help me then, but even like now, like they're super strong, like super powerful, and you know, another reason to crush the enemy, because you know he doesn't like friendships that come together and pray and talk about God. Uh, so yeah, the whole community thing is huge. Like you can't do it on. You can do it with Christ, of course, but the fact that you have those people that's like they got your back, and that's praying with you and that will pray with you, you know, is huge. So
Yeah.
community is huge. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I know you have like a huge community too, like, which I love it. And
Sis, when I tell you it's a game changer,
Mhm.
so they threw my friends threw a going
Oh
away
yeah.
party for me when I was moving from Richmond back home to Memphis, and in sitting there, we do this thing where we will go around and share. You know, each person in the room or whoever feels compelled, they'll share about, you know, whoever the party is for, and in this case, it was for me. And so,
Aw.
everybody went around and shared, and then I took the opportunity to share and was just basically letting them know that, like, y'all are the reason that my relationship with God is still intact. Like, in a healthy way, like not because I'm here for y'all, but because of the ways that y'all have poured into me
Yeah.
at my lowest moments, and because of the nature of our relationship, the ways that the Holy Spirit has moved through you when you didn't even know it, like, those are the I'm still here. That's
Yeah.
I'm holding your hands up, you know,
For real.
representation of today. So I'm like, I don't think y'all understand, and I don't know if there are words for me to help you explain. Like, I'm here because I have these people that I can be raw with, that I can be honest with, that's
That's
gonna pray
it.
for me, that the Holy Spirit can move through, because those relationships, like, it hit different.
Yeah.
It hit different. You need it for sure.
Yeah. And the friends that saw you like when you first started, you know, they were the friends who saw me like I was going out and they were like, hey, let's like talk about God, you know, those friends. To like now it's like, yeah, like I appreciate y'all.
Exactly. So the one question that I like to end with in these interviews is, what would you tell the girls like you? I appreciate the fact that you're a hooper. I appreciate the fact that you're a young mom. The whole idea of having grown up Christian, but kind of having that revitalized in college. So any of the women who may be in that phase, whether in college or not, but maybe feeling like, maybe there's something I need to do different here, the letting go of a relationship to trust God for what's next. What would be your advice to women?
So my advice would be, and this is the story of this whole like video, I think, is giving God your yes
Mm,
and just like trusting him. Uh and when you do, you won't regret it. Uh and it's hard to let things go. But knowing that when you let them go, that you're only letting them go for God and God is going to give you only greater. Now the process of getting to that greater, you know, it may be longer than what you expect. It may be shorter than what you expect. But knowing and trusting in God, knowing that he's going to come through for you and that he loves you and that he only wants like your yes to be able to move in your life. And when he moves, it's going to blow your mind. And he's going to continue to blow your mind. Like,
right.
and the hardest part is the waiting. Like, that's honestly like the hardest part is like the waiting and the letting go, of course. But like, it's going to be worth it in the end. And God's going to use that situation throughout to carry you throughout your whole life. You
Yeah.
know, it's not just going to be that one time, it's going to be other times, but you're going to be able to look back at that situation and be like, all right, God, I know you carried me through that situation. Let's go again. It's building that trust. So just being able to make that first step and letting go, and then knowing that like God is going to be with you every step of the way. And then also like being able to laugh at the future, knowing that God has his hands on you and that anything that the enemy may try to throw at you, because he will. He's gonna come, especially once you give God that yes. He's gonna come. But then it's us like walking in that strength and that dignity, knowing that we can laugh and that we can walk in that joy. It's kind of like a peace that no one else can understand. But it's being able to walk in that and knowing that God is gonna like, he got us and he does. He has you. Uh, so that's like the story of my life, the story of like everything. Being able to laugh and being able to trust God, despite however long it takes to get there. Like he has you. So
Right. Absolutely. I love everything about that. Everything about that is so amazing. All right, friends. So that concludes this video and this interview in the Girls Like Me series. I am confident that there are plenty of takeaways from this video. So hope that that encourages someone, hope that it spurs someone on in their walk with Christ. And until next time, we are out. Bye.
Howdy.